Good afternoon, back outside again. There's been some beautiful days. I'm gonna stay out here as long as I can because it's better than doing it in-house. Y'all get tired looking at that red brown wall behind me in the dining room. Doing Lagavulin 16, 43% alcohol by volume. I poured that about 10 minutes ago right now to let it kind of develop in the glass. Nick Offerman or Ron Swanson, he's made this kind of sort of his thing, although in one of his, he does go to Oban too, and I've never had Oban, by the way. But anyway, just a quote from him. I think it's a funny quote. I've watched the little trailer on the little vid on here, and where he goes to Scotland to prove it's not a Lagavulin. Talk just for a minute. Peat Smoke and Spirit by Andrew Jeffords. This book, if you like Islay whiskeys and you like history and talking about the design of everything, and let me get my notes because I'm going to need them. You'll like that book. That book is there we go. But the book is interesting, it's good. He goes to all the distilleries, he does a background of all the distilleries, but he also talks about from earliest known history of the island until present history in loose terms. He talks about ownership of the island, he talks about the geology of the island, he talks about the flora, the fauna to some degree on the island. He talks about the animal life, the sea life. It's really an interesting book. It gives you and the people of the island. It gives you a good feel for what it would be like to be there. So if you like this, I would strongly suggest you get it. It's a worthy read, it really is. Back to Lagavulin. Established 1816, Diageo product, 43% alcohol by volume. I do not know if it's colored or chill filtered. I don't actually think I've ever read that on it. It doesn't say on the bottle, and I don't have the box handy. It's in a cupboard in the house, so I don't know. So, that being said, I'm not worried about it because even if it is, I don't care, it's good. I've had the Lagavulin 8, which to me is the tequila of scotches. It has a very strong tequila flavor. Lagavulin 16, I've not had the Lagavulin 12. And I've also not had any of the distiller's editions on the lags. Just the 8 and the 16 is all I've ever had. And I've had the 16 a couple different times. I had it at a party one time. I got it at a bar one time. So this is the first bottle I bought and owned, but I've had it enough to know I really like it. I can get the 12, that's not an issue. But every time I go into the liquor store and there's a 12 there, I get sidetracked to something else, or something else becomes more predominant to me at that very moment, and so I just gravitate there. And so I'm going to have to quit doing that and just buy it, because I've seen it, like I said, a couple different liquor stores around. It's not hard to get. I think I've already said it's 43% alcohol by volume. It is 16 years old. It's set long enough in the glass now. And this is coin number from their first run, 112, if that means anything. But they're good guys. I like them. Shout out to them every chance I get. It's good dark amber. Very slow development on the legs before they start running. And they run thin, multiple, and fast, which means it's a pretty oily scotch. I do know they do narrow cuts on their distills. And they have I think they have what they think is if I remember right, they have the smallest stills on Islay. They run very narrow cuts. So it should give you a fairly refined product. That's what they're trying to produce that way. Oh boy, here we go. Smoke. Whole dinner tube. reading my notes too as I go through this. Make sure it's still valid. I wrote maritime on there, but I'm going to go further and just say, well, maritime, I will go into a little more detail. I get the salt. I get the dock side. A little bit of that flotsams that you get when you're standing on docks. If you've ever been to the ocean or around the ocean. I worked offshore oil for a while. Excuse me, he's not supposed to be running his Jake brake, but he is. I worked offshore oil for a while, so we would have to wait by the dock sometimes for the ships to take us to and from and out in the Gulf of Mexico. Definitely get that oceanic smell. Along with the smoke and a vegetal note on it. And there is a background citrus as well, but I'm not going to say whether it's lime or lemon or orange or anything like that off the nose. It's a faint citrus. It has that faint citrus, like almost like when you twist a peel and you get a little burst of the juice, for lack of a better word, that kind of comes from a peel. Slow smoldering bonfire. A vehicle that's been run a little too hot. A lemon bordering on blood orange. Those two kind of flavors, because the blood orange is a little more sour than the normal orange, with a little bit of that lemon, almost lemon drop, not fresh lemon, not lemon peel or lemon from the lemon, more like a lemon drop, a candied lemon drop. Vegetal. Very vegetal. Think a medley of green beans, cauliflower, broccoli, all munched together, all steamed together and on your plate. Very vegetal in flavor. Salty, of course. I've never had seaweed in my mouth, but you know when you get that ocean spray in the back of your mouth, standing on the beach or near the docks or whatever, and you can taste that ocean in the air. Definitely get that. But it's not as strong as it is in some of the other Islay malts. It's not as overwhelming to the palate. It stays a little bit more to the background, but it's still there. It's still very noticeable. Love this stuff. And thank you, Mark Gillespie, for the Whiskey Cast glass. Thank you so much for that. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. The finish is so, and I know this is a poo-poo word, smooth. The finish is so even. No spikes, no dulls, no. It is gradual though. It does start and it tapers. But it stays. It's long, continuous finish. If there was ever, that's good stuff. I love Lag 16. I like Islay malts. I like smoky malts. I love that smoky, warmy flavor. This is in the mountains, fly fishing for trout, campfire, evening dram, if there ever was. I mean, it's just, it screams that to me. Stays on the top of the tongue, stays on the back of the mouth, stays on the tip of the tongue. It stays there, and it just kind of just dwells. Very well balanced, extremely well balanced. For 43% alcohol by volume, I think it's probably the best 43% you can get. It's the best 43% alcohol by volume made, period. I've not had nothing better at that ABV yet. I give it a 92 out of 100. Love the stuff. Love it. Get you some. It's worth it. That being said, remember, a spirit in your glass is not running from you. Take your time, sip it, and enjoy it. You'll be better for it, especially if you get that stuff. Everybody have a good day.